Thank you, everybody, for coming back and getting seated. I hope you all enjoyed lunch. I am very excited that everybody is here and we're having a chance again back here in Palm Springs. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kelsey Cody. I am the Business Development Manager for Casper Airport Solutions. Our team is here from all over the country. We even have some of our leaders here from the Netherlands for this conference. So this is a big event for us each year. We're excited to see everyone here again. This morning's sessions were very insightful. We're looking forward to hearing more over the rest of the afternoon and tomorrow. So the Casper team has been attending this conference for several years now, and we've very much enjoyed watching the conference evolve into what it is today, which really is a huge thanks to obviously those who plan it. So thank you all to the planning committee and everyone else who spends so much time and effort putting this together for us. The evolution of this conference is also a reflection of the industry in general. I think in life, it's very important to be flexible. You need to be able to roll with the punches, as they say. Otherwise, you won't be able to learn, you won't be able to grow. Overall, you're just going to make life very hard for yourself. So this concept of being flexible and rolling with the punches is really an approach that our industry lives by. The best example of this is obviously the most recent pandemic and the aftermath of that. I know that we're all probably very sick of talking about it still at this point, but the reality is that the post-pandemic world, your communities are affected by noise now more than ever, and simultaneously your departments are experiencing things such as staffing shortages and budget cuts, along with a myriad of other issues that you're up against every day. And there's a gap that needs to be filled there between the two. So how do you, as airport staff, get everything done in a day that your roles require, keep up with the trends of the industry, make sure your communities are being heard and their concerns are being addressed, while also possibly being able to live your own life outside of the airport? So that's where the tools that you are using every day become very important. So at Casper, we've heard this from our customers, and especially post-pandemic, we've heard this. And we've worked really hard at creating automation in our systems, as well as just effective community-facing tools, including resident portals, where your residents have their own login. They can track their own concerns, see where they are in the process of being addressed, and it gives them a portal to communicate effectively with your airport staff. So for your airport staff, we've designed our solutions to allow for automation and highly efficient response process. And we found that the community tools that offer easy report and dashboard exports to your websites allows you to be as transparent as possible with your residents and gives them the opportunity to do their own research and look into what is truly affecting them day to day. And all of these things combined, it really is the first step in bridging that gap. And our goal at Casper is really to continue to be as flexible as possible in the need, as needed, to really make sure that our product development provides both the airports and all of your communities with the tools that are needed to grow together in an efficient and a productive way. So our team is looking forward to the next couple of days, really catching up with you all, meeting some of the new faces that are here today. So thank you and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you for your sponsorship, Casper. We appreciate it. And a few housekeeping items. If you've lost anything, you can go to the desk. We have one mobile phone and a pair of sunglasses. And for those of you that don't know, your Slido number is actually on the program per session. It's just, you gotta look at it, turn your head, and you can see it. Okay, so welcome to the session on Beyond the Part 150, Finding Noise Abatement Solutions. My fellow co-chairs are Tara Finnigan, the City of Newport Beach, Cindy Gibbs with BridgeNet International, and consultant Justin Cook with ESA. Our first speaker is Zach Burch. Zach is the Senior Communications Manager for the Naples Airport Authority. He oversees the outreach to the public, tenants, customers, and elected officials, and oversees the airport's website, social media, advertising, media, and PR. Prior to working at the Naples Airport, Zach served as a senior legislative aide for a member of Congress. You're our third person that used to work for a member of Congress. So on that note, please welcome Zach.
Great. Thank you. I hope everyone had a good lunch. Good afternoon. If you're an East Coast person like me, good evening. My name is Zach Burch. I'm the communications manager for the Naples Airport. And before you all jump up, yes, I know your grandparents live there. We played pickleball last week. You want to talk about annoying noise? Live next to a pickleball court. Not all that dissimilar from the supervisor who was here from Santa Clara this morning. You can see, I think this kind of shows our problem. Right there on the left is 1943 when the airport was built. Obviously in 1943 they were only building airports for one thing. We were there, we trained fighter pilots for World War II. The airport was built so far out into the middle of nowhere, into this swamp that today would be protected, but back then was just a nuisance, that no one could ever have imagined that anyone would ever want to live around there. Fast forward 80 years, and you can see what it looks like around us now, completely surrounded by residential development, golf courses, schools. There's one industrial area there to the northeast of us, but predominantly surrounded by, and maybe differently than in what they have in Santa Clara, this is all very high-end development. These are all $1 million to $10, $20 million homes. This is not low-income housing around the airport. So it is slightly different in that way, but still similarly a shared issue with residential development primarily surrounding the airport. So this is called Beyond Part 150, but for the record, we did do a Part 150. We submitted it last year. It was our fourth one that we've done since the 1985, I think, was our first one. This Part 150 that was submitted, we had 7 noise abatement, 6 land use, and 6 programmatic recommendations that came out of it. I actually just got an update this morning. The FAA, thanks guys, is still reviewing it. They haven't accepted it yet, so we haven't started our 180 days yet, and that's been about 6 months. But well, one of the things that we wanted to do primarily was not to just sit there and wait, right? We know it could take a while for this to happen, for them to accept it, for them to give us their record of approval, hopefully on everything at the end. And so what we wanted to do was proactively go forward and begin the process of some of these things, especially those that we know will take some time. So firstly, as I mentioned, that Part 150 resulted in 7 noise abatement flight procedures primarily that we want to look at and we want to implement. Rather than wait now, what could be 6-8 months, a year, and then wait after that for a time period in which the FAA will begin to design the procedures for us, we've hired these 2 firms there, you see Hughes Aerospace and DVAC, to proactively design the procedures. Hughes Aerospace is a Part 97 approved FAA consultant, and so they can publish these procedures. And so we're going ahead and doing that. We know that the process of waiting our time for our FAA review of our normal flight procedures is about 5 years from now. So we know it would take at least that long likely for us to proceed if we just waited for them. But we kind of wanted to put our money where our mouth was and say we're not going to just wait. We know the FAA has a lot of priorities. They've got hundreds, thousands of airports that they have to oversee. And so we want to go ahead and begin this process, do the groundwork for them. We understand certainly they have to trust but verify. They'll have to review everything. But we want to make sure that we're being as proactive as we can with those and getting that done. And we believe with our investment there of somewhere in the range of $1 to $2 million that we can cut that time frame maybe in half or even more by doing so. And so just looking at some of the procedures, we have a 2,000-foot departure hold that comes for pretty much all IFR departures from the airport. We want to implement optimized profile descents, which are a more efficient, quieter way for arrivals to come in. We want to look at increasing the glide slope from 3 to 3.5 degrees on all 4 runway ends. And then there's 2 different flight path changes. You can see the one Down there in the picture on the bottom right is a flight procedure right now. That kind of red line is one of the initial looks. The goal is to try to get them down the bay. That's Naples Bay there. Obviously on the left side of it is the Gulf of Mexico, which you can see our proximity. Primarily now, flights departing on that runway 23, they will go kind of make a right-hand turn there out over the Gulf, with the thought being get them over the Gulf of Mexico as fast as possible because it's safer if something happens, and obviously there's not that many people to bother out there. But if you live in that pathway between the airport and the Gulf, it's a different story. And so we want to look at least routing our south and eastbound traffic down that way, utilizing the Gulf as much as we can. Because of our location, the majority of our flights are not south or eastbound. If you don't know where Naples is, we're as far down on the Gulf Coast of Florida as you can go. The only thing below us is the Everglades. So if you're flying south from us, you're going to the Caribbean, you're going to Mexico, Central America, South America, or the Keys, or potentially Miami, which is kind of southwest or southeast of us. There are challenges associated with this. We are not the only airport around. There are actually 5 airports in Collier County. We are by far the biggest and busiest of all of them. But there are airports, and we have some conflicts with their missed approaches and some of their other procedures when you talk about raising the 2,000-foot hold. FAA design standards can be a challenge, so that the red line there that you see on that bottom picture, that's the closest that waypoint could be in under the current FAA design standards. And so you see there, you basically miss the bay. So we're working with that, seeing if we can get some flexibility in that. Obviously surrounding residential development, some airports are blessed with having kind of some open space around them so you can really funnel people to one direction. If you look back at that picture from the first slide, you can see there is no empty space around us other than the Gulf. And then community disagreement. As you can imagine, say just taking for example this flight procedure that I was talking about, the folks who are under that current flight path, they love this. The people who live down there on either